Hey guys, we're going to have a quiz on the clean later in the week, but do want to break down a few things in regards to just some little things that'll help you perform this lift a little bit better. I do want to first start with lifting the weight from the floor. The bar is slightly smaller than the plate that it fits into, and you're actually going to hear that gap and a click here as Joey, one of our past students who does a great job on the clean, is lifting this. So one thing he does a great job of, he's using his glutes and his forearms to really help engage to lift this up. He's not using his biceps, not using his low back. If you hold your arm out in front of you and try to reach under and grab the bottom of your wrist, you'll feel your forearm muscle on the underside of your arm engage, and that is what we're hoping to use when we're actually gripping the bar and lifting it from the ground. We do not want to use our biceps and bend our elbows and use our low back to lift that up. That could create a problem for us in terms of creating an injury. All right, so Joey's going to lift this up, and then I'm going to pause this here. There's going to be a little bit of a downward movement that you're going to see that we want to create right here. That movement helps generate us to where we can have power and go up with it. So you almost think like we're really performing a jump. Obviously, with weight, we're not going to be able to go as high, but that downward movement does create some momentum for us to bounce upwards and create that power movement up towards the sky. From here, probably the most difficult thing to do and perform is to be able to go through triple extension where your ankles, knees, and hips all lock out straight, and you do perform a shoulder shrug at the same time. So you'll see here he goes up. You can actually see his shoulders shrug. He's beginning to extend his hips. His knees are moving backwards and his ankles are extending. So in this position here, he's in that full shrug, extension, extension, extension. And now he's going into the catch phase of this. Let me go to a side view here. You can see another view of this. All right, here's another view where he's going through a shoulder shrug. Now we're in extension, and he's catching this. This is a little bit lightweight for him, so there's not as much explosion here for him. And then he enters into the catch phase here at the end. So one simple thing that cleaners that do a great job are the ones who are able to keep their elbows locked as they shrug upwards. I see a lot of people not use their traps when they go through this process. They bend their elbows to use their biceps and low back, essentially trying to muscle the weight upward. So I've got a little video here of a simple exercise that you could perform if that's something you struggle with. All right, this is actually called a jump shrug. So this is something where you're going to notice he's going to go into triple extension with his ankles, knees, and hips, but he's going to jump in the air, but he's going to keep his elbows locked. And then he comes back down. And notice he also actually elevates his shoulders and does that shrug at the same time. So we'll watch him do this again. Very good. He's going to do a little side view here. And there's your shoulder shrug, jump shrug. So what this is really encouraging or enforcing you to do is to keep those elbows locked as you're moving that bar upward at the start. Here's a great example of a high pull, which would be the next phase after you get into that shrug, or if you've got that down. Another great example of a gentleman here who's using a great job of using his hips rather than his elbows and biceps to pull this up. So lifting this much weight, obviously he's going to have to be technically correct, otherwise he could potentially injure himself. So I'm going to go very slow through this. I'll play this quickly for you here real quick, and then you can actually see it in slow motion. So I'm going to come back here. This is right before he's actually going through the lifting phase of this. And you're going to notice that his hips explode upward, and he's able to have that bar lifted up. His elbows are still locked out. His hips are forward and upward. And then, only then, because there's so much power has been generated in his midsection, is what's going to happen is the recoil of this bar coming up is then he's able to lift it with that shoulder shrug as he's coming, only because of his hips. That bar is very close to his body. He is going to keep that up on the, almost like flipping your shirt, keeping it really close to his chest. His elbows come up and out. They don't come in towards his body, which is a temptation if you can get the bar away from your body doing that. So it does a great job, and then obviously lets that bar go. All right, and then finally here we've got a front squat. Got a little video here where they're going to do a great job of showing just some really important situations and positions that you need to have throughout the front squat. Probably the most important thing here is he's got his triceps parallel with the ground. His elbows are high. If your elbows are down, what's going to happen is the only way to compensate and balance is for your heels to be up and your knees to be out over your toes. So in order to have the weight be in the middle towards the rear heel of your foot is to keep those elbows up. That'll help shift that back. It'll also help you be able to sit back here on your backside. So they go through a list of some things here, obviously, that are really, really important. And we've talked a little bit about kind of the situation, the flexibility of your body being able to get into this position. But this is the ending phase. So after we've gone through the shrug, the high pull, the snap of pulling those elbows underneath and getting into this position, and then being able to go down into that kind of squat position to help finish that out is really important. But pay attention to go back, review, take a look at this video a little bit. You're going to see some of these things on the quiz, and let us know if you have any questions in regard to this.